chilling reason your lungs are hiding the ocean's most dangerous secret from you, and in 2004, off the coast of Taiwan, it moved 500 meters of ocean in total silence while every ship above had absolutely no idea it was there. Not a surface ripple, not a single sonar reading, nothing. The monster moved through the dark and the world above kept breathing. But for how much longer? 50% of the oxygen in every breath you take right now came from the ocean, not from forests. Not from parks, the ocean, made by microscopic organisms packed into a thin strip near the surface. They survive on one thing: cold, nutrient-rich water pushed up from far below. Stop that push and the organisms die. They die and oxygen production falls far enough, and the atmosphere above every city on Earth starts slowly, imperceptibly thinning. You cannot see the mechanism that prevents this. You cannot feel it. You cannot measure it without instruments dropped 300 meters into the dark. But right now, that mechanism is weakening in ways scientists only began to quantify 5 years ago. The ocean is not one body of water. It is thousands of invisible layers stacked by temperature and salt density. Cold and heavy at the bottom, warm and light at the top. These layers do not naturally mix. What mixes them is something that almost never appears in a classroom, never makes the news, and has no name most people would recognize. Internal waves, not surface waves, not tsunamis. Waves that travel entirely underwater between the layers, invisible from above. In the Luzon Strait between Taiwan and the Philippines, they form when tidal forces drag dense, cold water up and over a submerged ridge. The cold layer snaps back. That snap creates a wave, but not a small one. The wave scientists measured in 2004 rose 550 meters from seafloor to near the surface, taller than the Empire State Building, moving at 8 kilometers per hour. Carrying cold, oxygenated, nutrient-dense water upward into the sunlit zone where the organisms are waiting. This is the pump, the invisible pump that keeps the surface alive, and therefore keeps you breathing. Here is where the story stops making sense. These waves are powered by tides. Tides are powered by the moon. Straightforward, but here is what changes that equation. Temperature. Warm water is lighter. A warmer surface layer creates a thicker, denser cap, harder to break through. The internal wave still forms, but it does not punch as high. The nutrients stay locked below the thermocline. The organisms above them slowly starve. You have been told climate change threatens glaciers, coral reefs, coastal cities. Nobody told you it is quietly disconnecting the planet's primary oxygen delivery system. Nobody mentioned that ocean dead zones, regions so oxygen depleted that nothing survives in them, have doubled in the last 30 years. Here is what the science shows that most coverage skips entirely. In 2019, oceanographers published findings from the South China Sea showing measurable decreases in internal wave energy across specific corridors. Not catastrophic decreases, not yet, but the decline tracked directly with 40 years of rising surface temperatures. The thicker the warm cap, the shorter the wave's vertical reach. The same corridors showing weakened waves had seen dead zones expand by 30% in a single decade. Now here is the detail that should actually stop you cold. Dead zones do not only kill marine life, they release it. Specifically, they release dissolved carbon dioxide and methane locked in deep sediment, gases stored there for tens of thousands of years. Those gases enter the atmosphere and accelerate the very warming that thickened the cap that weakened the wave that created the dead zone. It is a loop. It feeds itself. Scientists call this a positive feedback cycle. What that phrase actually means is, the monster grows stronger the more damage it does. And here is the callback to where this started. The organisms disappearing inside those expanding dead zones are the exact same ones producing your oxygen. The ones that need the cold water punch from internal waves to survive. Those waves, moving 500 meters of ocean in silence, invisible from the surface, felt by nothing above, are the only barrier between the current atmosphere and a measurably different one. The ocean has been holding its breath so you do not have to. For now. This is not a story about 2100. The numbers are moving right now. The Arabian Sea dead zone has expanded so fast that fisheries sustaining 6 million people 2 decades ago are commercially collapsed. The Bay of Bengal oxygen minimum zone has risen 60 meters closer to the surface since 1990, 60 meters in 35 years. The invisible monster generates no headlines. It produces no images. It moves below everything visible and controls everything essential. And the mechanism fighting it, the internal wave, the tidal pump, the cold water injection system wired into the ocean's own geology, grows quieter with every degree. You are breathing today because that pump worked this morning. It worked yesterday. It has worked for every breath you have ever taken. But here is what the researchers who measured that Luzon Strait wave will not say publicly yet. That same underwater ridge system generating the largest internal waves on Earth sits directly beneath one of the fastest-warming ocean corridors in the Pacific. They are running the models. They are watching the threshold. There is a temperature point in those models at which the wave stops forming entirely. The pump goes silent. The surface starves. Nobody has told you what that temperature is, and nobody has told you how close we already are.